Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, Genghis Khan. Few figures have left as profound a mark as these three charismatic leaders, unmatched strategists, and empire builders who still resonate in our collective memory. But just as their lives were full of triumphs and conquests, their deaths were surrounded by mystery and legend. In today's video, we will delve into the intriguing and enigmatic ends of these three giants of history. The death of Alexander the Great. Imagine a man for whom conquering half the world by taking his dominion from Greece to the confines of Asia was not enough. A man for whom only one thing mattered: glory. Alexander had led his armies to the gates of India, only to finally meet defeat there and lose many men. After the defeat, and being so far from home, his generals, already tired and eager to enjoy the riches they had obtained, wanted to return home. But his king did not crave riches or power. He only wanted to keep conquering until reaching the end of the world. Nevertheless, pressured by his troops, Alexander decided to head back home, but he would never return to Macedonia. He died in June 323 BC in the palace of Nebuchadnezzar II in Babylon, present-day Iraq, at the age of 32, before returning to his homeland. While the causes of his death are certain, some historians believe he may have been poisoned by political rivals, while others argue that he died of fevers, possibly typhoid. There are also theories suggesting autoimmune diseases or complications from excessive drinking. Perhaps the most lasting legacy of his death was his final words. When asked to whom he would entrust the empire he had built with so much effort, he uttered the words that would ignite the fire of ambition in many hearts: "To the strongest." These words unleashed a series of power struggles, betrayals, and battles for control of his vast kingdom, known as the Wars of the Diadochi, leading to the dismemberment of his empire and shaping the political landscape of the ancient world. What we do know is that, instead of decomposing, his body remained intact for days, as if time itself refused to wither it. While some saw this as a sign of his divinity, it is now believed that he may have been in a deep coma and not actually dead at that moment. So the man who had conquered the world may have spent his last days listening to the disputes among his generals, to the point of perhaps being buried alive in his own tomb. The death of Julius Caesar. In the heart of ancient Rome, the nation of intrigues and ambitions, arose a leader fascinated with Alexander's legacy, someone who craved greatness above all else. He was a military genius, but above all, a great politician. Julius Caesar, the general who had crossed the Rubicon and had defied the Roman Republic. The man who had expanded the frontiers of the Republic and returned triumphant to Rome, declaring himself dictator in perpetuity, thus displacing the power of the Roman Senate. A leader who had been granted almost divine privileges, and for whom fate held a fateful surprise. On March 15th, 44 BC, a day that would go down in history as the Ides of March, Caesar decided to attend a session of the Senate despite being warned by a soothsayer about the danger that awaited him that day. Caesar, the confident man he was, ignored the warning and headed to the theater of Pompeii, the place where death awaited him. As he advanced, he was surrounded by a group of senators. What seemed to be a cordial greeting turned into a deadly attack, with daggers hidden under their togas. One after another, the conspirators stabbed Caesar, giving him a total of 23 stab wounds. Amid the chaos, some familiar figures emerged for Caesar. The conspirators, including men like Brutus and Cassius, believed they were saving the Roman Republic from Caesar's potential autocratic rule. In the end, Caesar's body lay at the feet of a statue of Pompey, his former ally and later enemy in the wars that had brought him to power. An irony of fate that the place of his assassination was marked by the shadow of an old rival. But Caesar's death did not bring the peace or restoration the conspirators had imagined. Instead, it unleashed a series of power struggles and conflicts that led to the end of the Republic and the birth of the Roman Empire under the leadership of Augustus, Caesar's great-nephew and adopted heir, the first emperor. The death of Genghis Khan. In the vast steppes of Mongolia arose a leader who would change the face of the world, the chief of chiefs of the Mongols, born as Temujin. He unified the nomadic tribes and created the most extensive empire in terms of conquered territory the world has ever seen. He was a man who had risen from poverty to become the most powerful man, famous for being relentless and brutal. Genghis Khan is also known for having more than 800 wives and an uncountable number of concubines. It is estimated that he has 16 million living male descendants today. His genetic legacy is so extensive that a 2003 study found that 8% of men in a significant region of Asia share chromosomal markers with the Mongol leader. The exact year and cause of his death remain a matter of speculation and debate. It is believed that he died in 1227, but the circumstances of his demise are as varied as the legends surrounding his life. At the time of his death, the Mongols were in the midst of a military campaign. It is believed that to avoid panic or give advantage to their enemies, the news of his death was kept secret so that the empire would not show signs of weakness. One of the most popular theories is that he died due to injuries suffered in combat. Some accounts suggest he was wounded by an arrow while fighting the Shia in China. Another theory suggests he died due to injuries sustained in a horse-riding accident. There are even those who believe he was betrayed and murdered, either by enemies or even members of his own clan. The location of his tomb remains a mystery. It is said that to keep it secret, everyone who participated in his funeral or who crossed paths with the funeral procession was killed to ensure that no one knew the exact location. This is added to the legend that a river was diverted to cover his tomb. Other versions recount that thousands of trees were planted over his tomb and that horses were made to gallop over it to conceal it further. Some believe he was buried along with a vast treasure. This myth has led to countless expeditions and searches in an attempt to find his tomb and riches. Some even claim that the tomb is protected by a curse, and those who attempt to disturb his final resting place will face terrible consequences. On the other hand, the death of the Mongol leader did not mean the end of his legacy. His descendants, including leaders like Kublai Khan and Ogadai Khan, continued to expand and govern vast parts of the world. Remember to subscribe, comment, and share the video. Leave your like and turn on the notification bell if you want more stories like this. We bid you farewell until next time.